And the reason why is because every time we get here, we're trying to have a conversation, you have nothing to say.
I don't have to say in person because you ain't got to say off the camera.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. We're talking to you guys obviously about Chris and Paige, and you guys know I've been documenting and telling you guys about the gaslighting, the manipulation tactics that Chris is using. I'm here to break down another one for you guys again. I want you to pay attention because I'm going to provide the video evidence as we're going through it and just break down what actually happened. Many of you are in situations like this, situationship. But the only difference is Paige in a situationship in marriage. Okay, and so I want to break some things for you guys to be able to understand what's happening so that when you go into your relationship, you're not going to repeat the same thing. Make sure you share this with another friend, woman or male. Share it with them because I'm going to expose some real things. Guys, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button for notification of the what uploads. We appreciate you. And for those of you who are returnees, you got the minerals. You got the minerals. If you haven't grabbed your hoodie, go and grab it now. Buy it now. Stay hydrated. All right, cool. Let me get my video up and popping. I want to get it up to around early here because, you know, we have to break some stuff down for you guys to make you understand what was happening. And so the night starts off young. Chris is in a suit. I don't know why. They're playing pool. And obviously they are having a good time. They're shooting the pool tips and everything like that, right? Everything's going sweet. And then it gets to a point where they sit down and have a conversation. Let's just play a little bit of the video to show you. So I kind of went a bit too early. I went on the wrong clip, but they were still playing pool at that point. Let me try and get the clip for you guys on where we're supposed to be. I went a little bit too far back, okay? And they're gonna start having a conversation, right? And what's going to happen is this: Chris is fine up until a point where she begins to speak about what she requires from the relationship. When she begins to ask for more, this is where the fire begins. How many of you are in situationships with people when you're asking for more and you then realize an argument happens or it blows up or they start trying to pull away from you? That is a sure tell sign they don't want more. You understand? Let's play a little bit.
Sure, fine.
Yeah. Yeah. We're putting in the effort of showing up every day, like actually like.
Now she thinks they're putting in effort, and this is why people get confused. Your effort, the effort that they're showing must be in alignment with what you need. I say this every single week with you guys. You know I talk about this all the time. Wants, needs. The two are different. The want is 6 foot, bearded, chocolate, fine abs, and legs, thick thighs, and long schleck. You know what I'm saying? Long. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's wants. The needs are talking about the character, things that are going to sustain you, things that also are an absolute red flag if you didn't get it. It's a red flag if you didn't get it. Those are needs. Like, whenever I hear people talking about, I gotta rip up my list, I'm like, no. You rip out the wanted list, but not the need list. The wanted is the bonus. The need is essential. The need is essential. You know, air, water, food are essentials. They cannot be got rid of. Let me get some water and stay hydrated. In relationships, you have absolute needs. Refine the list and find out what do you actually need. Does it need to be 6 foot? No, really. Does it need to be 6 foot? Or is that a want because you got heels that are 4 inches and you want to wear them? Is it actually a need? Or is it a want? Refine the list because the list must be containing what you need. The wants are bonuses. And so now we've got a situation where she's talking about, oh, he's putting in effort. No, he hasn't, because when you asked originally for something, you asked for communication from Chris, you didn't get it. That was a need, not a want. And so now she's in a situation where she's crying about it. I don't have the sympathy sometimes, but I have to try and have that sympathy. So I'm telling you on my screen, if you're watching, I do not want to hear you complain later on. Make sure you are saying what you need. Stop telling man what you want. You need to tell him what you need. You understand? Or you don't have to necessarily tell him, but you should know in your hearts of heart what you need. So that when he begins to make effort, you know it's in alignment with what you need, not what you want. Do you see what I'm saying? Right? Like, so you oh man, let's get into it. I'm getting frustrated. I don't know why I'm getting frustrated like that. You know what I'm saying?
Building like a connection, but like as far as the next phase of it is like really digging deeper. I feel like we're both having a hard time.
Now here's where it's going to get tricky. She's now beginning to explain that, look, we're doing great, right? We're doing great right now. We're starting to begin the building blocks of moving forward to where we want to be, right? Look what she's saying though. Listen to what she's saying. She's saying, I think we've done well, etc., etc. But we're having a hard time of going deeper. Many of you are having sex. Many of you are entering into exclusive stuff. You're entering into relationships, and you are not sure where you stand. And it's because you don't know what you actually need. And because you don't know what you need, you're in positions now where you don't want to be in. PEW. You know I say it all the time. PEW. Pew! It means position expectation 1. If you're in a position where you like the guy, you've got to say, what is my expectation? That's where the need comes in, the expectation. And when he says what he wants, then you can say, oh, we're going to run together or we're not going to run together. Because if he says, I'm not really sure, then you say, it's a no. Thank you. I appreciate that. More love. How about you go your way? You know what I'm saying? And so because of those things, right? When people don't know what their expectations are and where they stand, they have an issue. You know, they have an issue in terms of being able to relate that to the person. So now she's talking about we now want to press a bit deeper into the relationship. We're having trouble getting deeper. Look what his response is going to be. Listen very carefully.
Doing that, we haven't even been like consistent in like communicating.
So if we haven't been consistent in communicating, what effort has he been putting in? The effort has to match the need. Oh, listen, darlings, man them. Stop getting gassed by how buff her back off is and how buff her face is and how buff her breasts look to you. Ladies, stop getting gassed by 6 packs and arms and thighs, okay? Stop getting gassed by his pretty smile and his pretty face. What is he doing that's in accordance with what you need? When you are desperate, when you are hungry, you buy things that you don't need. Relationships are like that. People are buying things they don't need. If the very basic of what you need is that he should be able to communicate, and you're not getting communication, how is it that we are still here? And how is it you're celebrating him for doing something when he's not meeting the need? The need hasn't been met. How is it we're celebrating him for that from beforehand? You know, we're doing great. We're not doing anything.
So what do you recommend?
Consistency.
Oh, you want consistency in communication? Mm-hmm. But I've called you a few times.
Boom. There we go. Look. Now, for anybody who's watching it for the first time, you may be thinking, okay, you know, Chris has got a point here. He hasn't got a point here because we've watched him all season. We know what he's like. Okay? Now, let me get some water and stay hydrated, baby. Pay attention. She has mentioned, I want to go deeper and connect with us a little bit more deeper, right? And she said, I want consistency. Yeah, this is what I want, right? I want consistency from you. As soon as she mentioned that, he went and said, okay, what do you mean by that? And then what was his response? His instant response was to say, yeah, but I called you last night 7 times. Last night is not the only night we've been together, bro. We have 24 other or 25 other days we've been together. Consistency has been off since then. Your consistency has been off since then. But when someone is in manipulation and gaslighting mode, and when they don't want you, when a rich nigga won't, okay, let's start. I was gonna sing Chris Brown. Want you, babe? And he, okay, all right, cool. So when they actually don't want you, and the capacity that you're offering, which is relationship, okay, they're going to do things to wriggle out of it because verbal confirmation is a contract. Right? How many of us sign a contract when we're dating? Nobody does. We verbally confirm it by saying, yeah, I want to be in a relationship with you. It's a verbal contract. When you get a new phone contract, they actually do it by verbal. Your word is verbal contract. That means your word is now law. Deep it, your word now is law. So whatever you're saying, you must go by it. This laws govern lands. If you have a land, the land is you, by the way, right? You are a sovereign queen or king in that land. Whatever you say must go. So when you are saying, I need communication and I need to be consistent, and the person says, I want to enter the land, he wants to enter your vagina, let's be honest, and enter into the poussoir. He wants to swim in some waters, okay? He wants to have you, okay? Or he wants to have a relationship with you. Let me just keep it 100 real. Wants to have a relationship with you. He must abide by the laws that you have stated is for your kingdom or queendom. So when women are trying to play men, I'm telling you the same thing to men. Men, when the woman wants to enter your kingdom and wants a piece of you, there must be a law that she's going to be governed by. That's what you set ground of. That's why your needs are important, because your needs become law. When she also too heard Chris talking, what was her queendom law? What was a law that they had to obey by to be in this land? All right? And when you don't obey the law, it's treason. When they don't obey the law, they've committed a crime. They've got to be punished. And when I say punished, they're out. They're not willing to obey the laws of the land. They're out. In your relationships, you are doing things where you're committing treason against yourself, because you have rules, you have laws, and you're not abiding by them. So look what's happening here. Let's listen to what he's going to say.
Where I was calling to hang out, like, you didn't answer at all. Like, I was going to say, hey, yo, let's go, grab some food or something, and you didn't answer at all.
Now, before she answers, I just want to say, so notice that he talked about, obviously, I called you last night. This is the only night he's actually really called. And I called you a few times and I couldn't get through to you, yeah? And so, he's now using this. He's going to use it as leverage to dissuade her from the fact of having a better communication. Now, an argument, because if she's saying she wants better communication and you're realizing that she hasn't even said that you're a bad communicator. She just wants consistency. And your first answer is, well, I called you last night and you weren't. He's already taken on the blame. He's already ready to attack. Because remember, he does not want to agree with your position. Your expectation of wanting a relationship, he does not agree with it. So he's not going to be malleable in his position. He's not going to say, yes, I agree to the contract and stipulations. He's going to tell you how he wants to run it. Because he is somebody coming from outside. He's actually an invader. He's an invader coming into your walls, and if you don't shoot arrows when someone's an invader, guess what happens? They create a whole mess within the castle. They create a whole mess within the land that you occupy, right? And that's why these guys are so dangerous. But the point is, if you don't have good walls, if you don't have good management of boundaries, if you don't state what you need in these moments, you get twisted up like this, where he's now going to tell you some nonsense.
I feel like you're just purposely ignoring me.
Well, the night that you called me, I actually was with my mom. Why couldn't that have been followed up through with the text?
Now, here's a point. Okay, he's gonna say at the end, he doesn't do texting. So now, obviously, he said that he wanted to communicate. He called her several times last night. Okay, and so he called her, and obviously she must have been busy with her mum. I'm sure she's probably ignoring him, because she could have easily sent a text back to him saying, look, hey, I'm busy at the moment, can you call a bit later? She didn't want to do that, so she too was ignoring him. She knew what she was doing. She saw the missed calls, I'm sure, but then he also didn't want to call. He didn't want to call. He didn't want to text. Sorry, he didn't want to text. Okay, and the moment that she obviously said, why couldn't you follow with a text? Look what he's gonna say. Let's watch it again.
I don't really like texting at all. I'm a phone call guy. But it shouldn't be this hard to communicate with somebody that you like. That's been my problem with you.
Boom, there we go, instantly. Okay, it shouldn't be this difficult to communicate with someone that you like this way. Okay, now let's keep it 100% true. Okay, he's always had the problem. She's the one that set it out originally to say let's communicate. So now she's got the problem. See how the twist is coming. Stay hydrated. See how he's quickly twisted it now. It shouldn't be this difficult to communicate with someone that you like. You don't like her. You don't. It shouldn't be this difficult to communicate with someone that you like, and etc. etc. Bro, did you text? Now, I'm not saying she didn't. I'm not saying that she didn't text back, but I'm saying, did you text? Do you know what I mean? Like, you called several times. Look, when I had a girlfriend, bro, if I missed her on the first call, I'll be like, look, hey, I just give you a missed call, like, just checking up on you. Or if it's not important, I might just leave it and then call a little bit later on. But I'm secure in the communication because I know that she's either busy or she's doing something. She can call back later on, right? Or I'll just text and say, hey, look, I'm gonna go to bed. I did try to give you a call up tonight, but I think you're a bit busy, so I'm gonna go to bed. Boom. It's just communication, right? But it's because you actually you care about the person, so you let the person know where you stand. He intentionally doesn't want to text. You know what I'm saying? He intentionally doesn't want to text. I'm not saying that he's got anything to hide in terms of, messages being left. In the sense of the fact that it's about control. He will do it when he feels like he will do it. The issue was when he called, he couldn't get through. Not when she called. The issue was when he called. Because it's about him being in control of the driving seat. When he calls, he expects you to pick up. When he calls, he expects you to pick up. You should drop every plan that you have and he should pick up. Let's go again and I'll explain a bit more.
Just been communication. And I just don't feel like from the communication standpoint, I just don't feel like you're trying.
How can you tell your wife that there's even a conversation?
So this is where it becomes very, very clever. When gaslighters and manipulators are working, they flip the script onto you. So they have to make you feel guilty. You will notice something about Chris. He's acting real calm here, and the reason why is because it's to get you riled up. You need to get emotional, because the moment you get emotional, you buy in your emotional state. And when you buy in an emotional state, you often buy incorrectly. Yeah. Let me say it again. Businesses get people to buy emotionally rather than logically. This is why two for one deal, sometimes you don't need it, but it's emotional buy. It's like, oh, I'm getting a better deal here. You feel excited, you feel happy, and then you buy 2 for 1. You didn't really need 2 for 1. Most of the time anyway. Sometimes I do. But you didn't really need a 2 for 1. Or buy 2, get 1 free. You didn't really need it. But they got you emotional, they got you excited, they made you feel like you're getting a deal. Or, they link emotions to certain things of their product. Right? That's why they sell you adverts and they show you a whole story, because they want you to emotionally invest in the story, then buy the product. And the same thing happens with because it's in a sense, marketing is manipulation. In the same way that manipulators work, they market, they intentionally sell stories to get you to emotionally invest. And when you emotionally invest, you are going to lose. When you emotionally invest, you're about to come out of logic and go into emotions, and then you feel like I'm heated. And then when you're trying to explain why you feel the way you feel, you're incoherent, because you're no longer thinking on a logical level as to why you're feeling anything, but you're letting emotions dictate how you behave now. So the calmness that he's producing, he wants to make sure that you get excited. All right, cool. Like, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. The reason why I'm acting the way I'm acting is because of what you did. Right? It's gonna shift it. No. The reason why I'm acting the way is because you did. Yeah, no. That's what you did. I'm not to blame here. You're not consistent. I'm asking for consistency from you, but you're not getting it. Bro, you've been less than 1 day calling, bro. It wasn't long ago you were saying you didn't want to call. It was not long ago you were saying you couldn't commit to calling every night, at least for a little bit. You couldn't do that. That's what couples do, bro. You couldn't even do that. So how is it that she's twisted it now? How is it that you twisted it now to make her feel like the enemy when it comes to consistency of communication? That's how manipulators work.
Conversation with another woman about being in a relationship with them. Why haven't we had that conversation?
You ain't asked me about the kid.
No, I remember this conversation. I don't know what they showed this clip for, to be honest. Obviously, I know that last time they had a conversation around this issue where he didn't tell her about the situation with the ex and the baby mother situation. So communication has never been his strongest forte. All right, there's the baby mother situation. There is buying the car for Mercedes situation. Okay, where he didn't communicate until after. There's a walking out and not coming back for 2-3 hours, not communicating that either during that period of time. He's lacks communication skills. So for him to flip it onto her as a gaslight. That's where the gaslight happens. And many of you have experienced this in relationships, especially situationships, right? Where the person gaslights you. And the reason why is because they don't want you to get anywhere near close to understanding that they don't want a relationship. Because so long as you keep pursuing, they're still going to get what they want out of you. The moment you stop dead is the moment when they realize, I can't get anything out of you. But the moment you're alive to it and you're open to it, and you're wanting to keep trying to make it work, even though the person's not showing you they want it to work, is when they get you. They make you emotionally invest, and then you give away the goodies, and you give away more than you really wanted to give away. Let's have a look. Let me fast forward this a little bit, because
About nothing. I don't think that like we are doing a good job at being spouses.
Now, obviously, you know, yes, I mean he's now coming to a point where he's going to explain that he doesn't feel like they're doing a good job being spouses. He doesn't feel like they're actually making it work the way it needs to, and so he's about to now drop the bomb on her. And I think maybe I'll drop this as a part 2 because I want to just focus on the manipulation aspect of the show for Chris and Paige. But this is a part where obviously he's going to begin to explain that they're not working out anymore, and this is something actually he's been thinking for a very long time, and actually it's a control method again. Like, because remember this point. Stay hydrated. Remember this point that it wasn't long ago they were sitting down for dinner, and he said, "If you leave, if you had have left, I would have chased after you. Why? Because I knew I was losing you. Now, because Paige keeps holding on, okay, now he can end it because why? He has the control and the power. I can end it when I want to end it. Do you understand? Right? I can end it when I want to end it. It wasn't long ago you came back the other week again to say let's talk and let's have a conversation. Let's meet up." And you wanted to make it work. Why are we back here again? So why are we here at a point where you're saying we're not doing a good job being spouses? You know what I'm saying? Right?
Where I'm frustrated in all of this is like, how are we truly saying that I am open to seeing things through, committing to this process, if
So now Paige is getting a little bit annoyed, right? She's sussing it that my man's starting to leave. He's starting to separate himself. And at that point, she feels scared. And at that point, she feels annoyed. Why? Because she's putting so much effort and hard work. Many of you are like this in relationships and situationships. You've put in so much extra work on behalf of the other person that now when they're saying they don't want it, you're now vexed. You are the problem, not them. You are the problem now, because now I've told you you can't make the same mistake again. You can't love two people. You cannot have so much love for two people that you're covering their love. No, they must love you and you must love them. It can't be that I'm loving for the both of us. No, understand that. No, okay, you are not gonna do that. Added to that, yes, you've emotionally invested. Yes, you've sunk in maybe financial cost into everything. But the truth of the matter is, it was never meant to work in the first place because you never confirmed what your needs were and if they were going to be met. That's the verbal contract that you signed with your lips. And your silence was compliance. And your silence was a yes. Your denial was a yes. So in this scenario, now she's getting a little bit angry, a little bit more.
we're automatically ready to shut the door on the other person?
What I need is not being met.
All of a sudden, what he needs isn't being met. And I'm going to leave it there because we'll drop a part 2 where we do the extra part of this conversation. But I really want to just encourage you guys, listen, please state to the people that you're trying to get into a relationship with, what is your position, what's your expectation, what are your wants versus the needs, what is the need that you need from them. Do you know what I'm saying? If they can't supply it, then that's when you know, I've got to terminate the contract that we have. I'm sorry, you're good, you're cool, you may be a nice fella or nice woman, you look good, but I can't rock with that. That's not a relationship I want to go forward with. Stop having situationships that are born out of the fact that you are unwilling to say what you need. Okay? And the person unwilling to meet that need. They're not going to meet it. You get past it and say it's done. It's finished, like Jesus Christ on the cross. I appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded, stay